Hi, this is Scott Garibay. Today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang and how the debates have become much more important and much more invaluable in the U.S. presidential primary and general election, and how the debates are absolutely critical at this point, and they serve a function that they have never served before, and that their importance in the process and their value in the process is higher than they have ever been. All right, let's talk about it. All right, so first and foremost, before I go a step further, I just want to get, one more time, I just want to reach out to every Yang supporter out there and say, this whole weekend, this isn't Labor Day weekend. That's not what we're celebrating. We are celebrating the absolute domination of Andrew Yang over Tulsi, Gillibrand, Bennett, Tom Steyer, all 16 of those scrubs that could not get into debate number 3, right? The debates have become a guillotine, lopping off heads. Let them roll, right? And that's the thing is, these are incredibly important. Yang making, right, debate number 3 and debate number 4 already, right? And Gillibrand, Tulsi, Marianne Williamson, Hickenlooper, Bennett, de Blasio gone, right? Just count them off. They're all, Tim Ryan gone. Heads are in a basket, right? It's incredible, right? But Yang isn't in that bottom group, right? He's standing tall. He's right there. He stands now with the fast 5, and he stands above, in my opinion, the slow 5, right? There's only 10 people left, right? This is really important, right? Now, I know there's some people who are saying, hey, there's going to be some people who come into the 4th debate. I'm going to address that in this video. We'll get there, okay? All right, let's talk, but the reality is this weekend, raise a glass, man. We have so much to celebrate, and we could be so proud of Andrew Yang, and I am. I've been on the Andrew Yang train for a while now, and I'm so proud of him. He is executing perfectly all his hard work, all his blood, sweat, and tears, and I think that is quite literal. I think he has cried. We've seen him cry, right? I guarantee you at some point he cut his hand on some podium somewhere, and we've seen him sweat, right? He is putting in the hours, right? And just see, I have to say, it's really touching to me, because the thing that really touches me about Andrew Yang is him being away from his wife and his kids, and how he talks about it, and that's real, and you can see that sentiment. It's right there, and I think what it would be like to be apart from my wife and kids, and I would miss him every minute. He's worked so hard, and I am just so proud of this massive accomplishment he has created. I'm proud of him, and it's special. So this weekend, raise a glass, celebrate this huge moment for our campaign. We are paving the road to the White House for Yang. We do it one tweet at a time. We do it one donation at a time. We do it one video at a time. We do it one phone bank call at a time. This is how it's done, right? And we really need to celebrate. I am so happy. This will shine a radiant light upon my entire weekend, and boy, I'll tell you, at every, barbecue this weekend, no one will be able to shut me up about Andrew Yang, right? I'm just so happy, and you should be happy too. Sometimes this is a grind, right? And sometimes just hearing a candidate say the same thing for the 100th time in a new interview in a new place, but it's the same material, that's none of their faults. They have to do that. It's part of the process. But we follow this stuff day in and day out, and sometimes it's just a grind, right? But this is a really celebratory moment, and we should really take the time to celebrate the accomplishments of our champion, right? Our intellectual champion, the person we want to sit his butt in the seat in the Oval Office, and we're going to get there, right? All right, okay, let's talk about the debates. All right, the debates have become absolutely massively important, far more important than anybody expected, far more important than anybody understood, right? And the reason why is there's three aspects of the debate that have proven themselves and that are becoming more important because of the ubiquitous camera. We live in the world of the ubiquitous camera now. There's cameras everywhere, right? Now, we all carry a camera in our pocket, in our cell phone. That has radically changed the world. And basically, the most powerful cameras are held by the media, and they are distributed instantaneously, massively, with high quality across the world immediately, right? And this ubiquitous camera thing means if you ain't on camera, you're gone. You are gone. That's why these debates matter, and that's why the 16, that's why Tulsi and Gillibrand and Bennett and Ryan, they all are dead in the water, man. Like, you know, they failed to get there. It means the camera says, I have forgotten your face, right? And that is absolutely the most horrible thing that can happen to any politician today. If you can't get in front of the camera, you are done. You are done, right? And that's the issue. That's what the debates are becoming, is they are the most powerful camera in the primaries and in the general, in my opinion, right? Because they're consistent, right? But there's these three aspects that we have to talk about with them, right? Drumbeat, qualify, soundbite. Drumbeat, qualify, soundbite. Let's kick them off. All right. What is the drumbeat? Well, one, these specifically, these debates are firing off. Boom, 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 right? And they come out once a month, once every 6 weeks, maybe once every 7 or 8 weeks. But it's a drumbeat, right? And it is high pressure, right? High pressure that doesn't release, right? Now, a lot of people are like, oh, these debates are so unfair, right? And I'm like, hey, bring it. These are not unfair. This is not unreasonable. Because guess what the presidency is? It is a job that is high pressure, where the pressure never releases, right? It just keeps ramping up. The problems keep coming at a drumbeat, and you are going to take your life if you are the president, right? Get ready. Here's what you do. The presidency is a container. You take your soul and you pour it into the container, and at the end, you're going to get a portion back. We know this. We know this. We saw it with Obama. You could see it was like his life force had been sucked out by a dementor, right? Like, this job will grind you. It will take a part of you and never give it back, right? The job, like, if you are running for presidency and you are whining about the small problems of the debates, forget it. What you're about to go into is a meat grinding machine that will make the debates look like a Sunday morning picnic, right? The harshness and difficulty of the debates is absolutely necessary to burn off the dross and give us the gold. And right now, we know what the dross is and we know what the gold is. And Yang is gold. Yang is gold. We know that now, right? We know Bennett is dross. Right? Like, we know that now, right? It's the chaff from the wheat, right? Yang is wheat. Bennett is chaff, right? That's how it works, right? Like, this is a contact sport, right? Nobody can complain about the difficulties of debates, or, they can't, because the job is harder, right? It also shows leadership. We are electing a leader, and guess what? The debates have some aspects that are unfair, right? And they also present the candidates with problems the candidates shouldn't have to own. The media should own these problems. But guess what? I've been working since I was 12 years old. That means I have 37 years in the labor force, right? You know what I learned in 37 years working under many, 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 many leaders? Here, I'll tell you what I learned about leadership, right? Leaders own problems that are unfair. Leaders own problems that do not belong to them. That's what a leader is. A person who comes in and says, oh, this situation is completely unfair. It's set up all wrong. This isn't good, right? Leaders walk in and they say, I'm going to fix this, right? And then also, leaders fix problems that don't belong to them, right? Whiners talk about problems that don't belong to them, right? Leaders fix them. And that's exactly what we just saw with Andrew Yang. He had to overcome the hurdle of MSNBC or some group coming in and saying, oh, your poll doesn't count, dude. And he's like, shove off. I'll get another poll. And that's exactly what he did, right? He went and he got another poll, right? And he said, hey, I see the problem. I don't care who this belongs to. I don't care how unfair it is. I'm a leader. I will crush it. Bring it. Let's go, right? So you have the drumbeat. Let's talk about the qualify, okay? The qualify is polls and donations, right? These are real politics metrics, except for polls. Polls are terrible. They do not matter, right? The donations, that's a really good metric. How many donations did you get? It's quite fair. It's very solid. You can't, like, push it around much. Polls are the worst. Polls stink because of preference falsification. Preference falsification is the reason that Donald Trump won, because when the pollers went out and said, hey, who are you voting for? Every Trump voter either crossed the street and never saw the pollster, or either said, oh, I don't know, I'm still thinking about it, lied to them, or actually evaded them, or actually said, oh, I'm voting for Hillary, and then voted for Trump. They either avoided it, they actually skipped it, evaded it, or lied over it. So polls are the worst, right? Now, one thing I would like to see for the debates to get fixed is starting to use non-experimental research. Now, what is non-experimental research? Here's an example. How do you study tsunamis, right? Well, you can't really create a tsunami. You can't be like, oh, guess what? We're going to flood San Francisco to study the tsunami, see how many people die. You can't do that, right? But what you can do is the day after a tsunami, you can get 5 scientists down there, and they can do a whole bunch of research and say, okay, this tsunami did this, and this tsunami hit at night. What are the other tsunamis that hit at night? Let's compare the data. Now, how does it compare to the 10 other tsunamis that hit during the daytime, right? Non-experimental research. Going in and looking at factors after the ground, right? Polls stink, and there's no point in listening to polls. They're absolutely worthless, all right? We really got to move on toward these non-experimental research methods and get a better, like, and the way I would do that is, like, I would go to 1,000 houses and say, okay, how many Ford F-150s are in the driveway, right? And how many Subaru Outbacks? The number of Ford F-150s, that's all Republicans. The number of Subaru Outbacks, it's all Democrats. Whichever one's higher, that's who's winning right now, right? And you can laugh all you want, but I guarantee you that'd be 1,000,000 times more effective than asking people, especially when we already know that preference falsification is incredibly is in effect, right? All right, so you got drumbeat, you have qualify, okay? What is the third one? The third one is soundbite, right? Soundbite. Let's talk about soundbites. A ton of the candidates have whined about, oh, I can't get my point across in a soundbite. Who cares, right? Here's the thing. The debate soundbites are awesome. They are awesome, and here's why, right? So the idea that the debates are the only place where the candidates get their point across is ludicrous. This is, that idea completely ignores the existence of Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan is incredible. Joe Rogan is the future of journalism, without a doubt. He does long-form journalism. He has set up a perfect studio. It's got perfect mics, perfect cameras, and he will bring you in. He will treat you like a human being. He will treat you like a guest. He's ready to hear what you have to say. He will not cut you off. He will let you talk for 5 hours straight, right? He will come back at you with fair questions. He will come back at you with questions that have actually taken into account what you've already said publicly, and will take into account what you've already said in the interview, right? He's not some shiny talking head that got his hair done that morning, and then got his talking points from the networks, right? He is the future of journalism, right? And here's the thing. I know the long form, I know all the policies of Yang, and guess what? I know all the policies of Sanders, because they've gone on Rogan and they've talked as long as they wanted to talk and nobody interrupted them, right? And Joe Rogan is not some podcast sitting on someone, no, I love podcasts. Podcasts are the best in the world. Just love them, right? But the reality is not a lot of people listen to podcasts. Joe Rogan isn't doing a podcast only. His stuff is put up on YouTube. It's cut up into small bite form so that everybody can watch it, or you can watch the whole interview. It's right there. It's absolutely free. So any candidate's like, I can't get my point across in a soundbite, and so the debates are unfair. That is ludicrous. You already had the opportunity to get your message out. Just head your butt over to Rogan and get on there. But there's lots of candidates think they don't got to do that. Elizabeth Warren hasn't been on Rogan, and Elizabeth Warren didn't go to Fox News, right? And the idea that you're going to sit over here just like Hillary Clinton, you know, Howard Stern begged Hillary Clinton. He's got like, he said to her, hey, I got 30 million people that you never talk to, that you never reach. Come be on my show. And Hillary's like, no, I'm good, right? And now Elizabeth Warren is making the same mistakes. You know, putting her nose up at Joe Rogan, putting her nose up at Fox News. It is, you cannot do this. You had better be ready to talk to anybody with a mic, right? Like, it's ridiculous, right? Any news source, legitimate news source, right? There's a couple people like you probably don't want to go talk to, but like Joe Rogan, Fox News, that's ludicrous. Those people absolutely, they have sound platforms, and to say that you're better than them, it's the deplorables mistake all over again, right? It's the basket of deplorables. And it's amazing to me, it is absolutely amazing to me how on earth people are, you know, are going to do this and look at these mistakes and not learn a thing. Not learn a thing. All right, let's talk about Tom Steyer. Okay, I think a lot of people are hearing me and they're like, wait, you can miss a debate and you're still fine. No, and actually, Trump did do that, right? I think it was like in his first run. No, I don't think it happened in the second one. But so here's the thing. One, our world is way different than it was even 4 years ago, right? The ubiquitous camera has become stronger and stronger and stronger. You not getting screen time and 10 other candidates getting screen time in front of the whole world. This isn't just the USA. These debates are watched worldwide. They have huge watchership, right? And they're bigger than anything right now in the electoral cycle, right? So why doesn't Tom Steyer? So Tom Steyer, he's a billionaire, and he's buying his way in. Essentially, he's like using his money to buy ads, getting himself up to 3, 4, 5% poll. Now, I'm very thankful. One of my subscribers actually pointed me to this and said, "Hey, Tom Steyer's going to be in the 4th, right? He's going to miss the 3rd, but he's going to be in the 4th." I'll tell you right now, Tom Steyer does not matter, right? And I really think anybody who doesn't make these is going to be out. I'm going to talk about Tom Steyer real quick, and then I'll give you a quick button on why anybody else who misses the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd debates are really going to have a tough time coming in, all right? So let's talk about Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer's got a huge problem, right? And here it is. All right. Eric Swalwell. Remember him? Remember Eric Swalwell? He used a very powerful term. He had an interview, and he self-identified as another white man. Another white man. Another white man, okay? Now, I'm going to say AWM going forward for that, okay? Another white man. That's what that AWM means. And he had to talk to these interviewers and explain why AWM should even be in the race. This is very, very important. The Democrats have been promising for 30 years that intersectionality matters to them. They're like, hey, do you have a source of woe? That counts for intersectionality, right? And frankly, AWMs don't have any intersectionality, and frankly, they have very little source of woe, right? Now, I am aware of poor white males specifically are in a different, but none of them are running for president. I'll tell you that right now. So that's a different ballgame, right? So here's the AWM problem that Tom Steyer has, right? So one, the Democrats as a party, like the voters and the DNC, everybody, they're like, this is real. We literally do. We were not blowing sunshine and smiles at you when we said this. We actually meant that we care about intersectionality. And look at the 10. Boy, oh boy, do you see it. It is 70% non-AWM. There's only 3 AWMs in the whole 10, right? Biden, Sanders, and Beto. Biden and Sanders are literally grandfathered in. That's the only reason they're there. Biden, like, the way he deals with his AWM is he talks about the black president he served under constantly. I mean, like literally every other sentence, right? So, like, he knows he has an AWM problem. He is grandfathered in because he worked for our first black president. I love Obama. I voted for him twice. He's awesome, right? All right. What about Sanders? Sanders is in because he got done dirty by the DNC in 2016. So I think, like, the Democrats are like, yeah, we really didn't treat you well. Like, we got to fix this. You get it. Here's your ticket. Here's your hall pass to get in as an AWM, right? Why is Beto here? Beto, I have no idea. He breaks the mold. I have no idea why Beto's here. He seems completely useless. Like I have no idea why Beto is in the top 10. I truly don't. By the way, you guys are so brilliant. Please let me know why you think Beto's still in, because I, for the life of me, cannot figure it out, right? But the Democrats are being very real about this. They're like, oh, you're an AWM and you want to run? Shove off, Piker. Like, we are not down with that. like it is a real thing. And honestly, I'll go say it right now. I'm cool with it. And the reason why is, hey, if it seems unfair, there were 43 of them in a row. Like, we had 43 AWMs in a row. It's about time some other people got a chance. Come on. Like, you know, let's call it what it is. All right? Okay. All right. So there you go. Tom Steyer, even if he makes it to the fourth, he's dead in the water. He just doesn't know it. Right? He's AWM. That ain't going to fly, right? Like, Biden and Bernie have hall passes to be here, right? And people are checking. They're like, "Where's your hall pass, man?" And Biden's like, "Here's my hall pass, Obama," right? And then Sanders like, "Here's my hall pass. I was treated unfairly in 2016. Here it is." Like, it's so funny. Beto, where's your hall pass, man? And then he just kind of puts his hand up on a locker and smiles and tells a funny story, right? Never produces the hall pass. I don't know. It's really weird. All right, so the point of all this is the debates are incredibly important. They're so important, right? They're important and they're valuable, and they're a perfect obstacle course. They're a perfect obstacle course for the presidency, right? And there's really no problems with them except the polls. That's the only thing that's got to get fixed. We need to switch to non-experimental research. By the way, that is scientific. Non-experimental research is used in science. It's not like a non-science solution, okay? All right, so all that's there. I do need to remind you, this is incredibly important. What breaks the rules of, so the debates are important because of, the debates are important, okay? But you also need to realize that celebrities break the mold. Celebrities can jump in whenever they want. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please let me know in the comments below. And please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.